Good morning, students. This is KG Misra, and I'm here again with the next part of the video of the chapter uh, Electric Potential and Capacitance of Class 12th. So, till now, we have done two videos on that chapter. In the second video, at the end, actually, we were discussing that electric potential due to a uniformly charged thin spherical cell, but due to some technical reason, a small part of that was left. With that only we'll start this video, okay? But before that I will like to tell that I think all of you are fine and taking care of the rules of lockdown, and all of you are safe and keeping your family also well and fine. At the same time, all of you are working on your studies so that you can do better in the coming future. Okay, see, this is a thin uniformly charged spherical cell. We have seen that the potential inside is how much? It was V is equals to K and Q upon capital R, where this is the center O, this is the radius R, okay? Now, and this is the potential at the surface also. Surface also, what you find? The potential is V is equals to K Q by capital R. Now, what about the potential at an external point? Suppose this point P is an external point and this distance is R. So, potential here will be how much? It has been found that potential at point P will be Kq by small r. Okay. Now, if we want to draw the graph for this potential with respect to distance, so we can see the S. This is our y-axis. This is our x-axis. Okay. Here we are going to draw the x-axis. This is our sphere. Suppose doesn't seem to be like a sphere, but suppose it's a sphere. This is our y-axis. This is x-axis. We have taken r along the x-axis, and we have taken potential along y-axis. Okay. Now, what will happen? The potential inside is how much? It is, suppose here the value is kq by r. So it is constant till the surface, till we reach to the surface. See? Now see, along x-axis we have taken the distance. Okay. Along y-axis we have taken the potential, and this is the spherical cell. So what we find? Inside the spherical cell, what is the potential? It is kq by r. And on the surface also it is how much? Kq by r. Okay. So potential is same. Even inside and center it is kq by r. Here also kq by r. Here. Until we reach to the surface, it is kq by r. Now after this, what we find? If we move away from it, it becomes kq by small r. Okay. So in order to draw this graph, we have to delete this first. Now see. So it is till here it is V is equals to K Q by capital R. Okay. And from here onwards, what happens? We can take this x-axis till here. It will keep on decreasing. Okay. Why? Because here V is equals to K Q by small r, where small r is greater than capital R. Okay. So inside this sphere, till the surface of the sphere, it is V is equals to Q by R, and then when we come outside, it starts decreasing with the increasing R. Okay. So this is the graph for variation of potential due to a charged thin spherical cell with distance from its center. Okay. As we know that, that E is equals to minus dV by dr. This we have already derived. Okay. So from here, suppose V is given in 3 dimensions. Okay. Suppose V is given Vx I cap plus Vy j cap plus Vz k cap. Okay. And R is given like this. Suppose X I cap plus Y j cap plus Z k cap. Okay. And E is given Ex I cap plus Ey j cap plus Ez k cap. Okay. Now how can we write the relation? See, for this what we will do? For this we will be writing this. See, just see this so that I can remove this. Okay. For you can write like this: E x will be equals to negative of differentiation of v with respect to x partially. What is this partial? See, we know that in vx is also there, vy, vz all are there. Okay. This is function of x, this is function of y, this is function of z. So when you are going to differentiate, you have to treat the functions of y and z as constant. Okay, and you have to differentiate only the function of x only. Okay, and the constant differentiation of constant will become 0. Okay, so in this, that is called partial differentiation. I will show with the help of a numerical, don't worry. And this way we can write, and then when it comes to ey, we can write minus dv, sorry, like this we will write. This is called partial differentiation, dy, and ez is equals to minus dv by dz. Okay, so in this way we can find out different components of electric field intensity if the potential is low in the form of components. Okay. See, before going to the numerical, one more part, small part is left. As we know, E is equals to minus dv by dr. Okay. So what we can do? Can we cross multiply this? What we will get? E dr is equals to dv. That's what we will get. Now, if we want to get v, then what we do generally? We used to integrate. So we can integrate E dr and we will get what? Instead of dv, we will get v. Okay. Now, what is E? Electric field intensity. It's a vector quantity or scalar? Vector. Dr, distance, it is a radius vector, vector quantity. Two vectors either can have a dot product or cross product. Okay. So, for deciding it is dot product or cross product, see here, what is the result? It is scalar. Potential is scalar. So what should be there? Dot product, obviously. So we can write V is equals to E dot dr. Okay. Now, what should be the limit? See, while finding the potential, what we do? We bring the charge from infinity. So our limit of integration will be, we bring from infinity to a point having position vector r. Okay. So that's what we will use here as a limit. So E dot dr gives us the potential. Okay. So this is again a very important formula. If you know the potential, if you know the electric field, you can find out the potential. Okay. One thing is missing over here, and that is the negative sign. This negative sign was there, so you will get a negative sign over here. You will get negative sign here also, and here also you will get a negative sign. That was missing with us. Okay. So we are going to take up a question. Okay, what is given? Actually, this point is given. You can see this coordinates. It is 3-dimensional coordinate x, y, z. This is a point. And what is given in the question? Around this point, there is a potential. Constant potential is there. And what is that potential? This potential is given by this equation. Okay. And what we have to find out? We have to find out the x, y, and z components of electric field in that region. Okay. We have to find out x, y, z, and z components of electric field intensity. Okay. Now see what we have to do. We know that what is Ex? Ex is dv by dx, like this. Now see here, I'm going to put here the value of v. That is how much? 10x square plus 5y square minus 3z square. Okay. This dx. Now, what we will do, see here, this means wherever x is there, that will be variable. Other y and z we have to take as constant. That's what is the meaning of partial differentiation. Partial differentiation means other than x, other things you have to take as constants. Okay, so y and z are going to act as a constant. Now, when we differentiate this, what you will get? Obviously, when you are differentiating this, what you will get? This 2 will get multiplied with this, so you will get 20. And this power will reduce by 1. So it will remain only x. So what you will get? 20x. That's okay. Now what about this? 5 is constant, y is also constant. So what you will get? 0. Here 3 is constant, z is also constant. What you will get? 0. So what you are getting finally? 20x. So our Ex is how much? 20x. Now where we have to find out this value? At this point. So what is the value of x over here? Minus 1 meter. So what you will get? 20 into minus 1 you can do. Okay. Okay. Minus 1 here. Okay. Now have we made some mistake over here? Obviously, because here what should be there? Minus should be there. Minus should be there. So we'll get minus over here. We'll get minus over here. And we'll get minus over here. Now minus 20 into minus 1 is how much? Plus 20. So 20 Newton per Coulomb. That is our electric field intensity along x-axis. Okay. That is our first part of the answer. Okay. Now, in the same way, we have to find out Ey and Ez. Okay. So, just note it down so that I can remove and we can go for Ey part and Ez part. Done? Okay. Now, similarly, we have to go for Ey part. We know that Ey is equals to minus dV by dy. Okay. So again, minus is there already. Let's not miss this. V is 10x square plus 5y square minus 3z square. Rather, minus 3z square. Okay. And here what is there? dy is there. So when we are differentiating respect to y, okay, other, that is x and z, is taken as or considered as constants. So when you are differentiating constant, what will happen? It will become 0. Minus is there, it will become 0. What about this? Obviously y is there, so y is not constant because we are differentiating respect to y only. So what is differentiation of this? This 2 will get multiplied with 5, we will get 10, and power of y will reduce by 1. So what will get? Y 2 minus 1 is 1, so only y will remain, not y square. Okay. This here no y is there, z is taken as constant, so we get 0. So what we are going to get finally? Minus 10y and minus. How much we will get? 10y. That is our Ey. Now, what is the value of y at this point? You can see it is 2 meter. So we will get Ey is equals to 10 into 2. That is 20 Newton per Coulomb. So you got the value of Ey. Just note it down so that we can go for the Z component. Okay. Now we can go for the Z component. Okay. The same way. Ez is equals to minus dV by dz. Okay, so we can put minus d by dz of what is the value of V? Again 10x square plus 5y square minus 3z square. Okay, now we have to differentiate this. This is partial differentiation, and in partial differentiation what we do? Whatever here is there, that is only variable, others are taken as considered as constants. Okay, so only z is variable, other x and y are taken as constant. So x part will become 0. This minus there is there outside, don't forget this. This also will become 0. Okay, when you differentiate this 2 will get multiplied to this 3, will get minus 6. Okay, and its power will reduce by 1, so we will get minus 6z. So what we are going to get? Minus into minus is plus 6z we will get. Ez is equals to. Okay. Now, what is the value of z? It is 3 meter at that point. So what we will write? 6 into 3. That is how much? 18 Newton per Coulomb. That is the z component of electric field at that point. So we got this answer. Okay. So you got Ex, Ey and Ez. This way this question can be solved. Okay. So So our next heading is, our next topic is equipotential surfaces. Okay, now question arises, what are equipotential surfaces? See, suppose you have got a point charge. Okay, now from a point charge at a particular distance, suppose you are taking a distance of, this is a point charge. Okay, at a distance of, suppose you take 1 centimeter, here whatever potential you will find, that is how much? That is equals to 1 centimeter is how many meters? It is 10 to the power minus 2 meter. And suppose this charge is q. So what is potential at this point? That is kq by 10 to the power minus 2. What is the potential at the same distance? That is 1 centimeter. This side it is again kq by 10 to the power minus 2. What is the potentials at the same distance? That is 1 centimeter distance. Here it is again kq by 10 to the power minus 2. What is the potential at the same distance this side? That is 1 centimeter distance. kq by 10 to the power minus 2. Minus 2. Okay. So you find the potential at these points which are at a same distance from this charge. The potential is same. Now if you join these all the points, what will you get? You will get a circle. Now at the same time, at 1 centimeter distance outside, what will be the potential? Again kq by 10 to the power minus 2. Okay. At the same time, inside the board, at a distance of 1 centimeter, at a point you will find the potential is again kq by 10 to the power minus 2. So if you join all the points, what you will get? You will get a sphere, or I should say specifically it is spherical cell. And on that spherical cell, potential is this much only everywhere. Okay, so that is called equipotential surface. Okay, so just note down the definition. Okay, the surface at which potential is same throughout its surface, potential is same throughout its surface, is called equipotential surface. Okay, so there can be many equipotential surfaces. Okay, but different equipotential surfaces may have different potential. Okay, so now we have to draw the equipotential surfaces for different pattern of charges. Okay, like a single charge. Okay, like that. And before that, we must describe the properties of equipotential surface. Okay, so next heading is properties of equipotential surfaces. Surfaces. Okay, properties of equipotential surfaces. We are going to write the properties. Okay, so now write the first property. Okay, so what is the first point? First point is that no work is done. At the first point, no work is done in moving a charge from one point to the other point of an equipotential surface. Okay, no work is done in moving a charge from one point to the other point of an equipotential surface. This is one property. See, actually what does it mean? Suppose this is equipotential surface. Here the potential is 10 volt. Here is also it is 10 volt. Everywhere it is 10 volt. So suppose you are taking a charge of 5 coulomb from here to here. Here to here. Okay. Charge of how much? 5 coulomb. You are taking from this point to this point. Now what is the potential difference between these 2 points? Potential difference is 10 minus 10. That is 0 volt. Now what is the work done? You know that W is equals to Q into V. That is potential difference. So Q is 5 coulomb. And what is potential difference? It is 0. So work done is how much? 0. W is the work done. Work done is Q into V. Q is 5 coulomb. Potential difference between these 2 points is 10 minus 10, that is 0. So 0. 5 into 0 is 0. So work done is 0. I think you have understood. Okay. Now we can go to the second property. That is the second property. Property number 2. Okay. So start writing. electric field is always normal to the equipotential surface. Electric field is always normal to the equipotential surface. Now see, what does it means? Suppose this is equipotential surface. So electric field will be always, suppose here you have placed a plus Q charge. Okay. So what will happen? You know very well, electric field lines will go like this, okay, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Now see here, if you draw a tangent, what you will find? This is perpendicular or not? Here if you draw a tangent, what you will find? Perpendicular or not? And this surface is equipotential surface. Here if you draw a tangent, what you will find? It is perpendicular. Here if you draw a tangent, what you will find? It is perpendicular. Here if you draw a tangent, what you will find? It is perpendicular. Here you will draw a tangent, what you will find? It is perpendicular. Here also if you draw a tangent, what you will find? It is perpendicular. Here also if you will draw a tangent, you will find it is perpendicular to the surface. So electric field lines gives the direction of electric field, and see, these are perpendicular to the equipotential surface. That's what you have written in the second point. Okay. Now it comes to the third point. Okay. Or we can say third property. Write down, equipotential surfaces are closer. Equipotential surfaces are closer together in the region of strong electric field and further apart in the region of weak electric field. Okay. So what is the third one states? See, as far as this equipotential surfaces are concerned, see here, this is the charge. Where the field is stronger, obviously in the nearby places. So what you will find? The equipotential surfaces are very near to each other. And as we move away, the separation keeps on increasing. Why? Because electric field becomes weaker. Sorry, not made proper sphere. Okay, this is not proper sphere, but you should make proper spheres. Okay, you have to make proper spheres. Okay. Here they are nearer, and as you move away, they become further. See, the separation is less, and then increasing, increasing. So here, as electric field is weaker, so you will find more separation between the equipotential surfaces. Here, electric field is stronger, so you will find the equipotential surfaces are very near to each other. Okay, so this is the third point. Now we can go to the next fourth point. Write the fourth point, fourth property. Start writing. No two equipotential surfaces. No two equipotential surfaces can intersect each other. No two equipotential surfaces can intersect each other. Now see, why they cannot intersect each other? What is the reason? Because see, this is equipotential surface. Okay. Suppose potential all over its surface is 5 volt. Okay. There is another equipotential surface. Suppose throughout its surface potential is how much? 10 volt. Now what will the potential at this point where they are intersecting? What will the potential at this point where they are intersecting? It will 5 volt or 10 volt. If it is 10 volt, then this point cannot lie on this one, because it is equipotential surface and having 5 volt everywhere. So here cannot be 10 volt. Okay, and here also cannot be 10 volt, because for this surface it is okay. What about this surface? At every point of the surface potential should be how much? 5 volt only, then it is equipotential surface. Now suppose it is 5 volt, then it is okay for this, but it's not okay for this, because at every point of this potential should be 10 volt. Getting my point? And that's why these surfaces cannot intersect each other at all. Okay. Next heading is equipotential surfaces for different charge systems. Okay. So first we have to draw actually equipotential surfaces for different charge systems. Now here if you are taking a positive charge first, a small positive charge. Okay. What will happen? The equipotential surfaces will be nearer to each other. And then separation will keep on increasing. Separation will further increase. Okay. So first they are very near, then their separation is increasing. Okay, as we are moving away from it. Now we can draw the field lines also. It will direct it outward, perpendicular to its surface. Okay, only 4 is enough. So this will be the equipotential pattern of equipotential surfaces for a positive charge. Okay, it should be circular, perfect circular. Okay, here it appears to be little bit oval, but you can use their compass to draw perfectly circular. Okay, now what about the negative charge? If you want to draw for a negative charge, then how to draw this? How to draw for a negative charge? See, in case of negative charge, similar pattern you have to draw. Okay, so second number is for a negative charge. So what you have to do? Here you have to place a, instead of positive, you have to place negative. The pattern of equipotential surface will remain same. Only the thing will change, that is direction of electric field lines. Okay, because we know that electric field lines terminate to the negative charge. They don't come out of it. Okay, so this is for negative charge. Okay, now we have to draw this equipotential surfaces for an electric dipole. Okay, so in case of an electric dipole, see, this is a positive charge, this is a negative charge. Okay, what you can see, you will find here the spacing is very less and here spacing is more. The same thing is here also. See, spacing is very less and here spacing is more. Why it is like that? Because we know the property that wherever the electric field is strong, the spacing between the equipotential surfaces will be smaller. Okay, less spacing will be there. Where the electric field is strong. Now, if you taking any point in between, what you will find? The electric field will be due to this plus due to this. How? Suppose you take any point over here and you place a +1 point Coulomb charge over there. So this will do what to this? It will obviously repel this in this direction. So electric field due to this will be in this direction. Okay. Now I can write E positive. Now to this same 1 Coulomb positive charge, what this negative charge will do? It will attract. So it will pull again in the same direction. So electric field due to negative charge also will be in the same direction. So both the electric fields will be added, and so when they are added, it will make a very strong electric field over here. Okay, and that's why in this region you will find the electric field is very strong in the region between these two charges, and that's why see the equipotential surfaces are very near to each other. Now what about this side? Any point? If you take any point over here, what you will find, the electric field due to this. See. If you place a 1 Coulomb charge over here, what this positive charge will do? It will repel it in this direction. So due to this positive charge, electric field will be directed in this direction. Now to the same 1 Coulomb positive charge, what this negative charge will do? It will attract in which direction? In this direction. So electric field due to negative charge will be in this direction. They are in opposite direction. So they will get subtracted, and that's why electric field will be weak outside. Same is the case this side also. So as the electric field is weak outside, and that's why you are finding the spacing is more. Here also electric field is weak, that's why spacing is more. Here the electric field is strong, that's why spacing is less, and that's why this pattern is there. Okay. So in case of set of similar charges, see there are two positive charges. Okay. What we find? What is the pattern of equipotential surfaces? See, the equipotential surfaces are near outside. See, and here the separation is more. Here separation is less. Same is the case here. See, outside the separation is less, and when you go inside, separation is more. Okay. Now what happens? Why the separation is less outside and why the separation is more inside? That question arises in our mind. Again, we have to go through that property. The property was that wherever the field is strong, what you will find? The equipotential surfaces are nearer. That means spacing is less. This means that here and here electric field is more. How and why? Let's see. See, suppose this is Q1 charge and suppose this is Q2 charge. For understanding, okay, you don't have to write like this. Let us take a point over here. What you will get? If you are placing here +1 coulomb charge, this is going to repel this +1 coulomb in which direction? This direction. So we can write due to this Q1 charge electric field is E1 and it is directed in this direction. Now to the same +1 coulomb charge, what this positive charge will do? It will also repel in the same direction. So electric field due to Q2 charge, that is E2, is also directed in the same direction. So what is net electric field at this point? It is addition of E1 plus E2. That is net electric field is E1 plus E2. So we will have a stronger electric field over here. And same will be the case this side also. Now let's see what happens over here if we take a +1 coulomb positive charge. Suppose you are placing here +1 coulomb positive charge. So this charge will repel this in which direction? In this direction. So electric field due to this E1 is in that direction. What about this charge? This charge will repel this 1 coulomb charge in this direction. Okay. The repulsion will be there in this direction. So electric field due to this charge E2 is in this direction. What you find? Both electric fields are in opposite direction. So what you will get? Either E1 minus or E2 or E2 minus E1. That means the electric field will be weaker in this area, and that's why you find the spacing is more. In this area, electric field will be stronger, and that's why you find spacing is less. I hope you have understood. I'm going to rub this. This was for understanding only. Okay. This was only for understanding, and you can draw this pattern. This all way for understanding. Okay. Just draw this. Drawn. Now, fifth one. Suppose we have to draw the equipotential surface in case of a uniform electric field. Okay. So let us remove this to draw the case of uniform electric field. See, uniform electric field we can represent by parallel lines, parallel and equispaced lines. Okay. This is uniform electric field. These lines are representing uniform electric field E. Okay. Now, see, as we move along the direction of electric field, what happens? Potential decreases. So what we have to do? We have to draw planes, okay, like this. These are the parallel planes you can see. Okay. So these are the parallel planes. Okay. They are kept like this. I can show you how they are kept. Just have to take a notebook and I have to show it like that. See. Suppose this is one notebook, okay. I have to take another also. Suppose these two are notebooks, okay. An electric field is directed in this direction, so these planes are like this. Okay. Now, on this plane, its thickness is almost 0 because with respect to its length and width, okay. And same is the case for this also. So on this plane, everywhere potential is suppose 5 volt. Okay. So on this plane, maybe potential maybe 3 volt, because it will decrease as we move in the direction of electric field. So these potentials, these planes are equipotential planes, are they are parallel to each other. They are planes and parallel to each other. Okay. So please draw this. Drawn. Okay. Okay. Thank you, children. Take care of yourself and your family and keep on studying. We'll come with the next part of the video very soon.